Okay, in this video, we're going to add and subtract fractions. 7/8 plus 5/12. The first thing that we always want to do is when we're adding and subtracting is a common denominator. We do not need a common denominator when multiplying or dividing, but we do need one when we are adding and subtracting. So my first step will be to prime factor both denominators. Now these 3 dots, that means therefore. I'm going to write this once, and then in my future videos when I make those 3 dots, that's what that means, therefore. Therefore, when we need a common denominator, we're going to prime factor our given denominators. And that's going to help us see what we have. So 7/8 is going to become, we're going to come off to the side here. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 7/8 is 7 over 2 times 2 times 2. Plus 5/12. 12 is going to prime factor. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And we have 2 times 2 times 3. And now we need to get those denominators to be exactly the same. And we're going to do that by multiplying by factors of 1. When you multiply something by 1, you don't change the value, you just change what it potentially looks like. So for instance, the second fraction has a 3 in its denominator. The first fraction needs a 3. So if I multiply the denominator by 3, I need to multiply the numerator by 3 so that I'm multiplying by a factor of 1. 3 over 3 is 1. The second fraction is missing a 2. The first fraction has 3 2's. The second fraction only has 2 2's. So I'm going to need to multiply that second fraction by 2 over 2. So that the denominators are exactly the same. You can see that I have 8, 8, 3, 3. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. So this fraction becomes 21 over 24. And the second fraction becomes 10 over 24. And 21 over 24 plus 10 over 24 is 31 over 24. And that's how you add 2 fractions together. Let's try another one of those addition problems. So here's an example. Let's do another. And if you want to try this on your own, you can always press pause and try the problem on your own and then compare to see how I've done the problem or what answer I get. 9/8 plus 4/5. You're going to get very, very good at prime factoring. 8 prime factors to be 2 times 2 times 2. And 4/5 is going to remain 4/5. The first fraction needs a 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5 over 5. The second fraction needs 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So the first fraction becomes 45 over 8 times 5, which is 40. The second fraction becomes 32 over 40. 45 plus 32, we simply add the numerators and retain the common denominator, 77/40. 77/40. And there's our answer. Now, we always need to always check to simplify your fraction. So I'm going to show you that on this 77 over 44. 77 over 40, not 44. 77 over 40 becomes 7 times 11 40, if I prime factor 40, 220, 210, 25. So 2225, which I think we had right there, 2225. 7, there's no 7 on the denominator. 11, there's no 11 in the denominator. Nothing cancels, therefore this is simplified. Okay, let's try some subtraction. Okay, so let's try some subtraction. So I'm going to use the most of my space right here, and we're going to do another example. I'm going to use purple now just to differentiate that. Now I'm using some subtraction here. So we've got 7/10 minus 1/5. Remember, addition, subtraction, we need to have a common denominator. So I'm going to prime factor 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 10 becomes 2 times 5. Minus 1/5. The second fraction just needs a 2. And now the two fractions have the same denominator. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. So this becomes 7/10 minus 2/10. You retain the denominator. 7/10 minus 2/10 is 5/10. And just like I was saying earlier, you need to make sure that you simplify your fraction. Well, the better you get at prime factoring, the more you're going to see the factors in these numbers. 10 is 2 times 5. So 5 over 5 is 1. I'm going to put 1 times 5 so that when I cancel out the 5s, it doesn't look like there's a 0 in the numerator. There's still a 1 in the numerator. 5/10 becomes 1/2. Let's try another subtraction problem. Let's see. Let's try 5/8 minus 1/4. And if you want to try this and then press play and come back and check the work, feel free to do that. I'm getting really used to 8 being 2 times 2 times 2, and then 1/4, that's going to be 2 times 2 in the denominator. And then that second fraction needs a 2. And I'm almost running out of paper here. 5/8 minus 2/8 is equal to 3/8. Remember, you keep that common denominator and you just subtract the numerators. 3/8 does not reduce, so that is our answer. So there's a nice little lesson on addition and subtraction of fractions. And that concludes our lesson of fraction notation.